peel some apples first and get those ready, and then I gotta make my pie crust, roll it out, put it in my pan, and put this whole thing together and hopefully not screw it up. Always fun watching me work with a knife, because it's the same reason people go to NASCAR. You're hoping I'll screw up and lob off a thumb. Always a very real possibility. I have tried to do this with a peeler, like a, vegetable peeler they call them, or a potato peeler. And kind of a pain in the butt. So I've gotten used to doing it with a paring knife. I'm not near as adept at this as some people are, but I end up getting it done. And we got my water to make acidulated water. What did I do? I didn't acidulate it. Lemon juice. See, I'm thinking about 16 other things. And I don't know, a couple of tablespoons-ish of water. I got roughly 4 cups of water in there. And now that's going to keep my apples from browning. Yes. So there we go. This is an 8-cup container. Now, I can leave those sit there while I make the crust. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drain these off, and I'm going to make up the filling, because there's some other stuff that goes with this, of course, to make the filling. So let me just drain this off. Bowls are for. I'm going to need a bigger bowl, and I have bigger bowls. I just don't know where. Isn't that adorable? They're not really antiques. They're just styled like antiques. Bev's had these for long time, 20, 25 years. They were wedding shower gifts. Okay, so it's been, I guess, 2 or 3 millennia that she's had them. Cup of flour, half a cup of sugar, one teaspoon. You don't want to screw this one up. Bigger labels or longer arms. A teaspoon-ish of cinnamon. I guess I'll put that on top of my flour here. And a half teaspoon of ground nutmeg. And very, very carefully you try and mix this without creating havoc. Now, the reason I'm doing this now, rather than making up my crust and then mixing and taking it out of the acidulated water and everything then, is because the sugar is hygroscopic. And by mixing the fruit with the sugar and then thyme, you allow the sugar to draw moisture out of the fruit, which is a good thing, because that's what makes that nice gooey, sweet appley goodness in your apple pie, rather than just having fruit and crust and no thing in between the slices of apples. So there we go. That's after it's had time to draw some moisture out, we'll give it hell again. Now we're going to make pie crust, and hopefully sometime in the next few minutes this is all going to come together. I know this is the part you've been waiting for. Oven preheat 425. So now, there's only one tool involved in pie crust, and that is a fork. So, I'm going to make a double crust, an upper and lower, so we need to make a double batch. typically how I do it these days. 2 cups all-purpose flour. Okay. We're going to leave that open because I'm going to be back in there. Trust me. 2 cups of flour, 2/3 cups plus 2 tablespoons of Crisco. And then you need a teaspoon of salt. Should love my little salt thingy here. For a double, it's a half teaspoon per batch, double batch, 1 teaspoon, and try to get that, spread around. Yeah, you often end up with a little thing of Renegade there, of foil. And then you just cut these together. The object is to have little tiny beads of fat with all coated with flour, so that when you roll this out, it does its thing. So just kind of cut those up. Now ideally what you want to end up with is this bowl of little flour and shortening balls about pea size. Now, when you're doing this, when you're making a pie crust, all you got in here is fat and flour. You can beat the dog shit out of this all you want, all day long, and you won't do it any harm. When we get this all down to little pea sizes, the next step is we're going to add we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water, like 4 tablespoons or something. And once you add the water, you have to handle it very, very gingerly. Because even though this is a soft wheat flour, this is all AP flour, all-purpose, it'll still form gluten to some degree. It is still a gluten material. And if you beat it up, once you put the water in, you're going to get a very tough, well, when I say tough, I'm not talking like leather, but I'm talking like, store-bought pie crust. You're not going to get a nice, light, flaky kind of crust. But that's pretty much where you want to be. You can see this. See, little pea-sized balls of fat and flour. Like Richard Simmons' worst nightmare. It is 2 to 3, depending on your conditions, your ambient humidity, or how you want your dough. 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold, icy cold water. Not a problem here this time of year. Per batch of dough, and since this is a double batch for a double crust, we're going to use 4 to 6. I've found that a 1/4 cup seems to work about right for me. Okay, this is the point where, like I say, we're there now, dude. I'm going to add this. I'm going to bring it together. We're going to roll it. We're not going to beat this up anymore. Just bring it together. Get it to. You're going to have to, manhandle this a little bit in order to get it to come together. If you've done this properly, as this seems to be, you're just going to have a bunch of little wet balls of dough here. So yeah, you're going to have to manhandle it a little bit to incorporate your water. But the critical point here is as little as is humanly possible and still bring this together. So, and I hope this comes together. Gonna get a little squeeze here, kind of get it to. This is 2 pie crusts. The bottom one, I like to go 60-40. The 60% of it for the bottom crust and 40% for the top, because you got to do the bottom and not the sides. So I don't have one of those neat dough blades. That'd be so cool, and I will have one someday. But it's yeah, you know, like, I don't know, 60, 40, 55, 45 kind of thing going on there. And I'm trying to move this out of the way, but I don't really want to get it like on the oven. So here's my ball of pie crust. And lightly floured surface. Then make kind of a, I don't know, hamburger patty. Trusty handy dandy rolling pin, little light dusting on that, and away we go. And then we'll just get a hold of the edge, pick it up with our rolling pin best we can, and drop it into the pan. And hope that I judged relatively close. Okay. We're going to take care of this edge by and by. Almost forgot a very important element. So there you have a pie bird. It's a little 3-inch ceramic bird. Sometimes they're black or black and white. These happen to be white. These are at San Antonio at the end of the cocina. And they're hollow inside, so they got a little hole in, and it's to vent the steam. And you just place that in the middle of your pie. By putting the pie vent in the middle, you get a very good steam chamber, but it doesn't force the crust way up in the air from steam pressure. So there's actually a very, you know, practical reason for doing this with a pie bird. Get a hold of the edge, up on a pin, start easing it away from the counter. Back up on a pin here, and transfer it now, hopefully. And yeah, looks like it's going to go. It's going to be about there. Put a little finger spot to kind of break the dough so that the beak will bust through. How's about that? I learned to do this when I was about 7 years old. My mom taught me to do this, you know. Yeah, my mom, yeah, go figure. So, you just kind of do a, like that, past your thumbs and crimp it together and hope for the best, I guess. And there we have Pablo's 5-pound apple pie. If you don't put a foil cap around the edges, your crust will burn long before your pie is ever done. Put the pie in 425, 40 minutes with the foil on it. 40 minutes, timer goes off, pull the foil off, give it another 5 minutes, you're done. So you can see we've covered the crimped edge with what ended up being, because it's really thin foil, 2 layers of aluminum foil. Now if I handle this very, very gingerly, we can get this into the oven for 40 minutes without knocking the foil off. That would be really cool. And oh, that's hot. Yeah, don't leave it with your face, dude. I just blast a 425 degree air. We'll give that 40 minutes. And then we'll pull the foil off and give it another 5.